Okay, well, I'm glad to see everybody's here. We survived a pretty awesome football game weekend, right? Fair enough. And we're off to a good start to football week. But this week I'm going to try to retain your attention between both this discussion, okay, on packaging, and then on Wednesday we're going to proceed with some labeling. And so whatever we don't get covered today, we'll finish up on Wednesday. Did everybody get some jerky? Okay. Well, if you haven't, make sure you do. I'm going to pass it out to you. You guys can pass this down. Okay. We've got lots of it, so I'm just going to pass it around. Okay. So, also I wanted to let you know there's going to be some opportunity for questions. Okay. So if you're paying attention and you're willing to discuss kind of what we're talking about, you'll have the chance to get some early Halloween candy, okay? All right, so packaging. Why is packaging important? Okay, I think it's an often concept that we don't think about in processing and production, but it's really critical, okay? Our end goal is to retain that product quality and extend that quality for as long as possible. Why? Because that adds value and certainly color. So we're wanting to stabilize that color, okay, and also flavor. We know that oxidation of meat can cause a distraction of that flavor, okay, or rancidity. Again, trying to extend that shelf life, and we're trying to resist any potential abuse. So I put some pictures and captions up here that show ways at which we distribute meat. Okay, we have boxed beef, very common. That's what we use, particularly when we have vacuum sealed meat in boxes. We're able to capitalize on that space, right? Now, there is a consequence to modified atmosphere packaging. It takes a little bit more head space, and we'll discuss that further when we package that product. But really, packaging meat is about convenience and ease of handling. Okay? In fact, so much, you see Martha Stewart up here? She's on the front page of the Meeting Place magazine. Anybody get this? Okay? Well, you could sign up for it. It's free for students. I get it monthly. But she's promoting her new company, and there's another company called Blue Apron. Has anybody ever heard of this one? Okay, so what are those, Ethan? What's Blue Apron?
It's a convenience service for people where you send them meals and make their own meals, but it's everything you need in one place.
Right, right. So the average household size now, according to the U.S. Census, is 2.5 persons. When your parents were your age, that was so much larger. We were packaging meat to be 4 or 6 pieces per package. Now we're maybe 2, 4 pieces. We're trying to really fit that single household or 2 household size, okay, that convenience item. So there's opportunity for meat to be packaged along with things that have fresh products like the Blue Apron type, okay, that we need to learn how to adapt to and do a better job of in the future, okay? Now, there's a couple of definitions I want you to know. Okay, this is styles of merchandising, and that's case ready versus retail ready. We know case ready, that's a product item that is ready to go directly into the retail case for purchase and direct purchase by that consumer. Whereas retail ready, okay, that product's probably going to be purple in color because it's vacuum packaged. Okay, somebody else is going to handle it first. Particularly, we see products that are retail ready in HRI, hotel, restaurants, institutions, distribution chains, because somebody else is going to handle that product first to get it to spec for their certain clientele in their grocery chain. So, you guys are familiar with Hy-Vee? When you go there, you can ask them, hey, I want an 1.5 inch steak, and they'll fab it to that specification. That's retail ready style. Today, we're really going to focus on packaging systems that are in the case ready area. And so I'm not trying to say you won't see vacuum sealed packages. You guys recall that brisket whenever we first went to Hy-Vee, okay? That was vacuum sealed. Anybody remember the brisket? Seeing that in purple in color? Okay. So we're really going to focus though on packaging in the case format, okay? Including overwrap, matte packaging, some vacuum packaging, some shrink wrapping. There's also chubs, which you'll see for the ground beef, and I've just talked about the MAP packaging, which can contain variations in high, low, and mixtures of different gases like oxygen, nitrogen, carbon monoxide, and carbon dioxide. So there's also the difference between case life versus the shelf life. So when I think of shelf life, I think of day 0, when that animal is harvested, okay, to the time point at which that product starts getting slimy, starts having some textural issues, okay? Nobody wants to buy it. That, to me, is shelf life. Case life or display life, that is the time at which, when that product is received at a retail distribution chain, that it has to remain on the counter, okay? Until either it expires by its point of sale date, or a consumer decides it's not appealing, okay? Or the retailer decides, hey, we need to cook this product because it's oxidizing, okay? Now, I want you to know, though, how many of you guys have seen brown meat in a retail case? A little bit of brown, okay? That is not a pathogenic type of concern at all. It's purely a distraction of quality, as you well know. So please make sure when you talk to folks, the general community, you know, that meat is safe. I think that's an often misconception. Would you guys agree? Okay. All right, so color plays a really important role. Color equals sales. Okay, so I did a research project during my master's. I evaluated 350 beef consumers. And among many things that I did, I also asked them to rank the order of importance when making meat purchasing decisions at the retail case. Okay? So the number one thing is they wanted the product to be consistent in regard to its eating experience. But number 2 is they wanted it to be very visually appealing. Yes?
When you say consistent to them, or like consistent like every product in the case is the same?
Consistent to them. So they wanted that product to consistently taste a certain way every time they ate it. They wanted to have a lot of trust in with their palate in that product. Okay. Whereas our 3rd and 4th ranked options, okay, they were USDA quality grade and marbling. So you're telling me, my consumers were telling me that the color of the product was more important than marbling, okay, and grade of the product. And so that just goes to show that it's that first impression that means a lot as it relates to sales of meat, okay? So you all know, why do we have color of meat? We've discussed color between 241, also in here in other classes. But we have color due to myoglobin, okay? So like hemoglobin in the blood transports oxygen, the myoglobin transports and releases oxygen to the muscles. Now, certainly there are some differences that we can see dependent upon species, beef and pork versus pork and chicken. Excuse me, beef and lamb versus pork and chicken. That's what I meant. Sex, so bulls will have a greater abundance of myoglobin versus heifers. The muscle location, okay, so muscles like the chuck and the round that are used for more locomotive purposes, they will have a greater abundance and be darker in color due to myoglobin. As well as age of the animal. We know that older animals are darker in color. So just to quickly review this, make sure we're all on the same page. So we start with a vacuum sealed product, okay, and we're at that deoxymyoglobin state. Okay, so there's nothing bound between globin and that heme ring of the 6 ligand. Okay? Now when we add oxygen, typically about 30 minutes bloom time is what we need, it will oxidize, and we call that bloom. In regard to beef, we call it a bright cherry red color. Okay? And then over time, we oxidize that product. And what happens is we're losing electrons, particularly we're losing the iron atoms, and that's causing hydrogen to bind with oxygen, and so H2O is binding, and we're getting that dark brown color, okay, which isn't attractive. So to put this into practicality, this is what this looks like. Typically, we see that oxidizing occur along the external edges of a steak. Okay, that's where we would see it first. But what impacts oxidation? Okay, what are some other things? We're talking about packaging today, but I'm trying to bring up a really important point, that it's about